remember one of the most bizarre occurrences in my life. It actually happened a number of years ago now when I recollect it. Back when I was in university, I met an extraordinary amount of people during my time there, and I was considered to be a very likable individual, and it was very easy for me to make and keep friends or acquaintances. Through events in my life, I met a woman in one of my scheduled classes, and through circumstances, we became close. Years passed, and through events, she transferred to another educational institution and she later graduated. I was so proud of her for all of her hard work and happy for her in the fact that it helped open a lot of paths for careers that she could embark on. She later decided to head into a business venture for a cosmetic company. As events had it, she needed to go back to the country of her birth to help take care of her parents as well as the land that had been in her family for generations. She didn't want to leave me, but I mentioned to her that we would always be together in spirit, and that she had to make sure that her family affairs were in order and that her family was taken care of. So I helped her prepare for her return, and the time came for her to depart. We went to the airport as I watched her disappear into the terminal. Despite her departure, we still kept in contact, video-based chats through the internet. The weeks passed, as I was often excited for the video sessions we held together. She was excited for it as well, and we mentioned details of the lives that we had embarked upon. She mentioned to me that in the time that since she left, she had actually become a mid-tier employee of the cosmetic company, as I myself was starting a new phase of my life as well. Eventually, one morning I awoke. I literally sat up in my bed and felt as if something was different. I didn't know what it was at the time, but I felt as if something had changed. I didn't really think too much about it, as I then got out of my bed and proceeded to do the errands that I had planned for that particular day. However, as the days passed, weeks passed, and eventually months passed, the feeling became more and more present within my mind. I actually mentioned it to her during one of our video chats, and she told me that there was nothing to worry about. But as the months passed, she became slightly distant, and even one time she adjusted the angle of the camera that depicted her in her home. I asked her about it, and she simply mentioned that it was better for me to look at her a slightly different angle. I decided not to pursue the issue with her, as perhaps she was right, but I still couldn't help feel that about these past months something was different. It's just that I couldn't tell what was different, and I felt it becoming more and more important. I sat on the side of my bed one night, just thinking about what it could possibly be, as I then decided to just sleep on it. I then awoke, as I then stood up and headed to my bathroom. I started to freshen up for the morning, as I turned on the bathroom sink's faucet, and I reached for my toothbrush and toothpaste as I looked in the mirror. I didn't see my reflection. I then glanced to my side and I saw a young girl about half my height. She looked somewhat like me, as she nodded her head and smiled. Quick glance to the mirror once again, and she didn't have a reflection either. I then awoke in my bed with a sudden shake, and I sat up, my eyes darting around my room. What was that? What could it have been? Some sort of dream? Some sort of vision? I couldn't explain it. I then laid back onto my bed, my head resting against my pillow. I tried to go back to sleep, but I just couldn't ignore it. I reached onto my nightstand for my phone and decided to call her. She didn't pick up. I tried to shake off the feeling that I had, as I barely got any sleep that night. Over the next couple of days, I left her some text messages and more calls just to make sure that she was fine, but I received and heard nothing from her. I was worried what could have happened. Nearly a week had passed before I received a message from her, and she mentioned that she was doing well. We then made an arrangement to have a video chat, as a short time later we saw each other through the camera. But she was in a hospital room. My heart skipped a beat. Something did happen, but what? She saw my expression and nodded her head. She explained that she was alright and in good health, but I was still concerned. What happened? Why would she not have contacted me for that period of time? I had all these ideas and questions in my mind. She told me that could wait, but there was someone that I needed to meet. As I sat there, and I was silently wondering what was the meaning of all of this as she went off screen for a moment. Then she came back onto the screen with a sleeping child in her arms. I then instinctively knew Oh, she explained everything, and once she explained everything to me, it all made sense. The feeling that I had for months, her adjusting the camera when we were having our video chats to cover herself up, the week when she didn't reply to my messages or calls, and finally my premonition. I was so proud I actually cried, but I tried to be quiet as to not wake up the baby. We spoke for a period of time, as everything was eventually taken care of. Even when I recollect about that particular experience, it was one of the most bizarre yet beautiful moments in my entire life.